Hello, everyone. This is John Burgos, and welcome to tonight's special edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And this evening, we're going to be speaking with Jeilene Tracey about upgrading the brain software to thrive in the new electromagnetics. And we're going to get into that because what does that mean? What are the new electromagnetics? And there's so much talk of energy upgrades, portals, solar flares, activations, transmissions coming in, cellular data that we're receiving, all of the information that we receive from cell phone towers, electromagnetics. There's all of these different interpretations, and there is also a lot of energy that we are in relationship with as we walk our daily experience. A lot of energy that we are in relationship with as we walk our daily experience, our second by second experience, breathing out who we are as these human beings that we have been, that we are, and that we're becoming, and shifting in ways that are just absolutely profound. And so today, Jeilene is going to lead us through an amazing call. I had a session with Jeilene, and so did Eden, my fiance, quite a few months back, and it was so impactful. And the way that Jeilene grounds everything in, even as some of the work can seem extremely cosmic, if you will, and out there's this background that Jeilene brings in. It's very grounded, a lot of it rooted in science, to explain. It allows us to merge our mind even deeper with our hearts and have a fully expressed embodiment that really empowers us to walk forward in a way that perhaps we haven't before. So it's going to be an exciting call. We're going to take live Q&A also. So if you are interested in asking your personal question live on air, you can dial in on the phone line and press *2, and we'll try to get through as many questions as possible. Or you can type your question onto the webcast page, and we'll try to read as many there as well tonight. And with that, let me tell you a little bit more about Jeilene. So Jeilene Tracey is a vibrational geneticist. There you go, I can say it. Who channels light-encoded sound vibrations to create shifts in the energetic, emotional, and physical elements of the body. Working with the multidimensional light beings, and she's rooted in science, by the way. Did I say multidimensional light beings and science in the same sentence? I did. It's not a mistake. She harmonizes the physical DNA to its crystalline counterpart, amplifying its resonance and bringing the body into coherence and alignment with its highest potential. The vibrational genetics modality was developed by Jeilene during her work with clients as a body talk practitioner, when she began to connect with several multidimensional beings who offered their help and guidance during healing sessions. And Jeilene, it's with that I want to welcome you to your first appearance on Beyond the Ordinary Show, and I'm so excited that we finally have you on.
Thank you, John. It's such a pleasure to be here. Hello to you. Hello to everybody out there. Thanks for calling and listening in.
Yeah. So, Jeilene, as we're going in, and you're new to BTO, and some of our audience is getting to know you, I'd love if you share a little bit about your background and how you can with these multidimensional light beings and what's coming through you now.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to. So I was a scientist from the get-go. I'd say as a child, I was always interested in nature and the outdoors, and always kind of knew that I was going to go into biological sciences of some sort. When I got to college, I really realized that my focus was going to be on DNA, and I was really obsessed with DNA. I knew that of all the labs at the college I went to, that was the lab I had to get into, was the one doing molecular genetics. And so that was my path, and it was definitely, now that I look back on it, I see that I was really guided in that direction. Of course, at the time, I just thought, well, that's the only thing I'm interested in, so that's fine. I got to go. But anyway, so then I worked in biotech for many years after graduating from college. And it was during that time that I happened to come across. My whole world really got flipped upside down, because even though I'd had some metaphysical experiences along the way, and even though I was dabbling in reading different, Carlos Castaneda or Dan Millman or different books that expanded my ideas of what consciousness is, I was definitely a staunch atheist at that point. And I really felt like science was it. You died, you rot in a hole in the ground. That was my thing. And so I hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about it otherwise. And, look at me now. It's a total difference. But at that time, I had that reading with that friend who I trusted, because I knew her since I was 5. And it just blew open sort of my doors of perception and gave me a whole entree into what could be, because she was such an adept psychic and able to tell me all kinds of things about my family and my kids that just really blew me away. So at the end, this is the pivotal point, is at the end of that because she was such an adept psychic and able to tell me all kinds of things about my family and my kids that just really blew me away. So at the end, this is the pivotal point, is at the end of that session I had with her, she said, you're actually wired like this also. And I said, no, I don't think so. I don't know what you're talking about. She said, no, actually you are. And in fact, I think that you are going to end up doing something similar to what I'm doing. And of course, I was totally incredulous, and I thought, this woman's crazy. I love her dearly, but she's crazy. But of course, she piqued my interest, and so off I went to the library, stack of books, read through each one voraciously, because that's, I was doing research. And before I knew it, I jumped on the bus, right? Once you get on the bus, you don't get off. And I was a lover of all things metaphysical. Just studied all aspects, everything I could get my hands on, every class I could take, everything. It was like you said in the introduction, as I was studying something called body talk, which is very rooted in science, but also the metaphysical. It's very left-right brain intermingled. I started connecting with this group of beings in the earth, and first thought, am I actually seeing that? Is that really happening? But then friends that I would be working on who were psychics or adepts would tell me, hey, who's that giant being in the room? They're doing the healing. And so I started to trust it. And what was happening is that she was giving me these full downloads of what was going on with people biochemically, emotionally, metaphysically, through past lives, through different energy layers that they were carrying and density that they were carrying in their crystalline form and structure, and showing me how to ameliorate those. And at first, the modality I was using used tapping, and what she really showed me is that sound, more gentle and effective way of shifting DNA, shifting cell communication, shifting energy in the body. That sound, because we are all symphonies of vibrating sound coalesced into form, that sound was the way to move through the physical system with ease and grace and bring it back into balance. And so there I found myself with the vibrational genetics modality.
Wow. And what a ride. And you've been working with people and really shifting their bodies and their awareness about the energy that they work with. And so what are some of the benefits that people have received by working with you and then training in the energy in this way?
Wow. They've been many, everything from pain loss, from having kind of immediate pain go away, to lots of issues with neuroendocrine systems, the thyroid, the balance. So one of the companies I worked at was a microbiome company, meaning all those little unseen critters that live in the body and make up about 50% of your cells. So a lot of my focus is on balancing the microbiome in the body, and so many people have digestive issues or issues with their immunity, and so a lot of the work has to do with bringing people back into balance through the microbiome and their helpers, and helping the immune system come back online, and getting rid of things like chronic fatigue and chronic illness and all the disorders that come with that, and rampant inflammation and lots of stress. So really bringing people into that peaceful awareness and helping them connect into themselves as Earth sentient beings, or working with people in that deep level all the way through their biochemistry, and then seeing it through to all of the energies of past lives, current experience from this life, and future lives, all interplaying into their current experience here on the Earth, because of this amazing opportunity we have in this time of energy. I talked about the energy on the Earth, and it's just so primed right now to make these shifts right now. And so work that your soul has been planning for you is happening now because the time is right.
I love this. And I want to get into the electromagnetics and into energies that are happening now. And I'd be remiss. It wouldn't feel right, Jeilene, and I have to step backwards just a little bit, because you do what I do, and I think you do it even better than, well, I know you do it. From my perspective, you're very grounded. You seem so normal. This is such a common conversation with you, and you seem so normal. This is such a common conversation with you, and it just is. And
yes.
And it's people like you and the ability that you have to have this tone of a very straightforward, this is how we work, that makes it both very approachable, but also maybe a little confusing for people who are used to, it's the turban and the crystal ball, or someone channeling in a different voice to bring that
right.
through. So to step back a little bit and to really bring back the gift, which so many of us are opening to in different ways, and we're normalizing it because it's so normal. Sometimes we don't think it's so special because we're not doing it like other people are doing it. And again, this is an invitation for everybody listening to feel into your gift. And I love it if you can also describe your awareness of multi-dimensional light beings and your capacity to interact and have a relationship with them.
All of the biochemistry is really coming to me through them. I of course do the research, but they basically let me know that the research that I do just primes the pump for them to basically zoom me around the body and show me what's going on. And the mantis are the group that I initially connected to, that I mentioned to you. And that, again, came because every time I was doing a session on somebody, I was dropping roots into the earth. And while I was dropping those roots into the earth, I started connecting into the earth energy, and I started connecting into this group of beings, which are mantis, who I call the earth keepers. They are here in resonance with and in support of the earth and all of her living creatures, the whole Gaian system. And I realized that particular one of those beings, I call her Mari. She's an amazingly compassionate, she's got that fierce feminine compassion, and she is also got this ability, as Mantis is a master geneticist too. So she plays into both sides of me, and I realize she's been with me really my whole life. She's my family. Wow. She literally has been guiding me and protecting me from the get-go. I had a lot of experiences where, things might not have worked out that well, and I know now she was there to keep me safe. And also guiding me and nudging me in the direction of the DNA the whole time. I really got a lot of downloads about how she'd been doing that. So that's first and foremost the group that I really had connected to the most. In my path of understanding and learning all about all different kinds of metaphysics, I, went through periods of connecting with different angels and different guides and things that I really had connected to the most. In my path of understanding and learning all about all different kinds of metaphysics, I, went through periods of connecting with different angels and different guides and things like that. But it wasn't until I met the mantis and really understood their full influence on my life that it really came into my full awareness and consciousness. I had also done some work with the Arcturians before that. And when I say that I do work with them, really what I want to help a lot of people understand is that when we're connecting with guides, I really feel like if you have a resonance with a particular set of star beings or angelic guides, it's because you carry aspects of their consciousness in your DNA, meaning you've probably been Arcturian, you've probably been Mantis, you've probably been Palladian, if that's your group that you in your DNA, meaning you've probably been Arcturian, you've probably been Mantis, you've probably been Palladian, if that's your group that you get downloads from. It's because you resonate with them on a cellular, genetic, and vibrational energetic match that you're able to get information from them so easily. And these are the ones that always come in first for us. And so when I bring in Arcturian information and technology, I'm really bringing in remembrances of my own past and of my own biosignature blueprint, I would say. And then there's this one other group that I really love as well, and I call them the Divinians. And they have taught me so much about the brain and about the way that they evolved. They're no longer in physical form. They're a group of 12th-dimensional beings, but they've shown me the very large head because they told me that what humans don't understand is that the brain should continue expanding for your entire life, and that humans really should be living to be 200 years old when their brains are constantly expanding and neuroplasticity doesn't erode or stop or go away because of our belief systems and because of our exposure to different toxins, but also mainly because of our consciousness that we hold in our belief systems. So they're a fantastic group and have taught me much, and all aspects of all three of those groups are part of my practice and, gosh, really part of my daily life now because they all feel so close to me.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. And again, the way that you bring the information through seems so practical. And I would venture to say it is, and it's being normalized, and you also bring this complexity of your education and your understanding and how to really help people step into a potential of vibration that's here to augment their way of being and living on this earth. So it's wonderful. So with that, let's get into the electromagnetics. And actually, before we do that, before we get into a special offer, everybody, if you're interested in working with Jeilene, her special offer offers a private session as well. And she also has a 5-week course. So there's a 2-part offer. We'll get into that a little bit later, but you may want to take advantage of it. Know that special offer is there, and it may fill up really fast, so you may want to take advantage of it. I highly recommend a session with her. Both Eden and I had separate sessions, and both of us were blown away. So that's there just in case you guys need to jump off. And Jeilene, now the electromagnetics. Talk to us about the new electromagnetics, what your awareness is around that, and how we relate to them now.
Okay. Well, the way it occurs to me, it's not so good, that interferes with our thought processes and our health. We've got all kinds of stuff going on with cell towers and with computers and with, gosh, you name it. If you want to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracies and thinking about what our government is putting out there or other governments, I mean, it's right. You can really go deep into that rabbit hole. So there's a lot happening on our earth right now. But one of the other things that's really amazing is that the earth herself is shifting and changing into a different mode, meaning she, along her own ascension or evolution path, is changing and shifting her energy. So while a electromagnetic instrument may measure that, no, she's still at 7.83 hertz, she's still the same, the feeling of the earth has changed. What I call the 3 hertz, she's still the same, the feeling of the earth has changed. What I call the texture of the energy has shifted and has changed. Then there are other things that you can't deny, like we're in a different position now in our galaxy. We're closer to the outer edge, and so we're getting more information streaming in. There's sort of less of a barrier of information coming to the planet. We have the sun, which is changing all the time. And the sun is such a huge part of our being, right? We can't live without the sun. We are born and our DNA resonates with the sun and resonates with the earth. We're two parts. So you can think of mom and dad, the earth and the sun. So our energy is really keyed into and vibrating with all of these natural frequencies around us, which, yes, have become a bit scrambled, and we've been distracted from those resonant, natural home note frequencies of the Earth, most of the Sun. And then there's potential energies that are streaming into the planet from some of our cosmic friends, right? There are Pleiadian energies coming to the planet. There's Arcturian energies, Divinian energies. They're all here in support of our evolution as a species. So are the mantis. So there are a lot of beings that are trying to keep humanity ticking along and moving along, partly, and I will tell you from the mantis perspective, because they know that when the humanity that's coding this planet is in peace and resonance and coherence, it has a big effect on how well the planet is functioning and how easily it is for her to evolve. So there's lots of different sources of electromagnetic energy, but what the important thing is, and why I talk about the new electromagnetics, is because the way it feels to me is that the very texture of our planet has changed. And the upshot is the city that's been lingering in our energy fields is no longer optional. We are now in this time where it has become imperative that we deal with the dust bunnies around our energy field, because they have a tendency to create disharmony and disease in our body when they are swirling around, little eddies of malfunction swirling around our energy fields that surface and create issues for us when we sort of try and keep shoving them under the rug. So I hope that all makes sense. And
it all makes sense. So how is it that you help us make sense of this all during these shifts? How is it that our body starts gathering this energy and this information? And for me, it's all relational. And our awareness to really have it be something that is a positive in our life. And for me, it's all relational. And our awareness to really have it be something that is a positive in our life.
Yes. Well, that's actually the really exciting thing about this type of work, is that it is very possible, and with a few not so really insurmountable shifts in your life, you can start to come into more awareness. You can start to be more of the architect of your reality, as opposed to your reality creating a prison for you, right, that we don't like. So the way that I found that is really helpful and is pretty easy, first and foremost, is to bring balance into your system. So the balance between the three brains, the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. That physically helps to clear a lot of energy. And then if we're talking us to evolve, we really have to understand what's there, what's in our past, what's in our potential future, where we have places where we need to uncover and release density, meaning difficult emotions that have gotten stuck in our energy field. Is the best way to do that is to start really feeling into your environment. It's about, when I talk about creating and enhancing neuroplasticity in the brain, I'm talking about doing that through a new skill set. And that skill set is basically feeling into your environment in a really purposeful way. We have, masters of presence like Eckhart Tolle. They've been teaching presence and understanding that when you get very present, you really start to touch into the quantum realm. And that's because when you're very present, you're very engaged in observing what is happening around you. It's as if you're able to step energetically participating with everything around you. Say there's a chair in front of you. How does that chair make you feel? Do you like the color of it? Do you like the texture of it? Does it remind you of something? If it reminds you of something, what is that something? Where does that take you back in your memories? Why? And you can start to get a reading or a vibrational feel for everything in your environment. And while this may seem overwhelming, in the quantum realm, really, your brain can handle many, many, many different inputs. And your brain, which has these things called gating channels, which whittle down information so that it doesn't become overwhelming, will always take care of excluding that which does not have prominence in the moment. So know that you can start to step into your environment and start feeling into what's in front of you and around you, so that you do what's in front of you and around you, so that you can start to get into the habit of being a very conscious observer of everything in front of you and around you. Through that process of conscious observations, you then open the door to understanding the feeling tone and the meaning behind everything in your presence. Because it's those meanings that everything around you has that have put you into a state of either balance or imbalance, or happiness or misery, or disease or health. Because the meanings we create around things are all around events or ideas or beliefs. And those events, ideas, and beliefs are the unconscious drivers of your current reality. And so you get to be your own metaphysical steward, in a way, by starting to feel into your environment and just creating a new habit, creating new neuronal synaptic junctions in your brain by doing this. Every time you sit for half an hour, you just ask the table how it feels, allow the energy of the table to come to you, allow the energy of your sweet dog to come towards you, allow the energy of a friend to come towards you. You start getting downloads of information that start to light up areas of your brain. And when you're super present moment focused, those areas light up and they connect into all these exciting parts of the brain, like the pineal and the lowering of the amygdala and the hypothalamus to tell everything's okay, right? We're not in stress. We're actually in engaged, present participation. It just lights up all the parts of your brain you want lit up, and it quiets down those parts that need to take a chill pill.
Oh, I love that.
So
I love it. And it's funny.
It's fun.
It sounds fun.
Yeah,
it's funny.
sorry.
And as you talk about this, and it's like we're chasing a particular experience or a particular emotion, and then I feel part of our brain like on rubber band mode, like where it's got like this band that pulled so far, and then for some reason our system pulls it right back just when it's about to grab onto that handle hold to push it into or to reach that next pinnacle moment that's going to awaken something in its propulsion moving forward. And so I love the way that you're describing it, because I'm getting these visuals of what's happening in my brain. And the more that we play with that, the more that we stretch the bands, right? Yeah.
Yes, the more we stretch the bands, the more we make the new junctions of communication and connection in the brain. That's what the Divinians are talking about. I mean, you should never have a loss of neuroplasticity. You should constantly be growing new brain cells, new brain connections, right? It should constantly be happening in your life. And that's really negative self-talk and, the lack of self-love, and putting yourself into the driver's seat of creating your reality and having some fun, okay? Because that's like a big part of this, is that life should be fun. And it's so easy for us to get stuck in the stories and the memories and all the yucky stuff.
Yeah, is being stuck in the stories that what causes the atrophy and from the neuroplasticity to really stop producing?
Yeah, being stuck in the story, kind of having the same thing spinning around and around, and also just, not using all areas of your brain, not using different parts of it is what leads to the atrophy. Yeah, and so we want to continue to stimulate it. We want to continue, and we want to stimulate in a certain way. We don't want to stimulate it with more technology. We want to stimulate it with improving and enhancing our feeling sense, because we're human beings. We came here to be these physical way. We don't want to stimulate it with more technology. We want to stimulate it with improving and enhancing our feeling sense, because we're human beings. We came here to be these physical human beings rooted in our bodies. Let's not get out of our body and try and go have a metaphysical physical experience like way out. We came here to be physical. Everything should happen through the physical body, in my opinion. Your DNA is like a portal into your higher self. So vibrate in through your system, through feeling tone, through emotion, through the feeling sense. Let that light up your brain. Let that light up all the systems in your body and help bring in that peace and calm and that wellness that we're all searching for.
So cool. So you said vibrated in, and that got me excited about another part of your genius that you bring in, which can be kind of way out there, but also very it's so grounded in tribal. Excited about another part of your genius that you bring in, which can be kind of way out there, but also it's so grounded in tribal traditions or indigenous traditions also, and this is the use of toning and sound to initiate healing.
Yes. Yep. And it was the mantis that brought that in for me, and I'm so glad they did. Believe me, when I first started doing it, I thought there's no way I would hear the sounds in my ears, and I thought, I can't make that sound. I don't sing, I sound like a dying animal. I can't do this. But you know what? I started doing it. I was a little rocky at first, but oh my goodness, did it open up an incredible array of healing and vibration and knowledge. And I can't tell you how amazing it's been. The body is the symphony of light, and just matching that song, what the guides, they give me the tones, and so when I apply the tones and I do them with my voice, I'm feeling into your body and getting a sense for where things are out of alignment with their home note, with their resonance of peace and well-being. And I'm bringing it back into that alignment through the application of a new frequency, a new sound that vibrates that DNA or that cell or that tissue back into alignment with that home note that it has, because everything has its own place of being at rest, being at health. And so that's what sound does. It's an amazing tool for healing, and it just has really opened my eyes up to all of it. And what I love about it is that it all came from the mantis. It didn't come from a textbook, which is where I usually go, right? It came from these beautiful beings that have been resonating sound to the earth for millions of years.
Right, and what an amazing tool, and it really bypasses any environmental condition that we have or any learned habit that we have from vocabulary structure. The structure is eliminated, and it gives really a solid foundation based on frequency and harmonics, which really resonates with our auric field and our energetic body. We are energy, so having an energy to match and being harmonic with an octave that is congruent with that benevolence, with that peace, with that joy that we seek, really helps to amplify our field towards this.
Exactly. It's just bringing you back into that state of resonance, and the earth has her own song, and that is always part of it as well. We always get grounded into the earth and allow that energy to flow into the space of the healing. And that always helps. That always brings in this beautiful container for the work to be done, and especially since that's where the mantis live, in her dimensional earth field. So that's really a key part of it too, is the healing vibration of the earth, which is amazingly healing and gets concentrated when the tones are applied with voice. And the other thing I want to say is that, look, I wasn't doing this my whole life. It's not like I went to sound school. I want to emphasize that everybody should be doing this for themselves too, right? I mean, use sound, use chanting, use toning for yourself when you're sitting in meditation. If you're feeling stressed or you're feeling out of sorts, the first thing I do is I'll sit and take a few nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and I'll just start making deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and I'll just start making noise. And it's not necessarily a beautiful tone. It's not pitch perfect. It's anything that comes out of me, because that most likely is the sound or the frequency of the disturbed energy in me. And I just let it come, and you can get loud, and you can just let it go, let her rip. And it feels so good in your body. Your body starts to vibrate, and before you know it, you feel so much better. So I really encourage everybody to do it.
So wonderful. And Jeilene, maybe before we end today's call, if you're up for it and if it feels right, we can experience one of those multidimensional light encoded sound transmissions.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Can we save that
I'd love to.
for the
I'd
end?
love to. Yeah, for sure. Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so I want to leave everybody in that hum before we end tonight's call, so you guys definitely going to want to hang out for that. And I do want to go through the special offer. It does include a part live course with channel transmissions and all that. But before we even do that, Jeilene, I want to open up the experience for a lot of people who have their hands raised on the call and who are typing in their questions, if you're open to start that portion of the call tonight.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I'd love to hear from everybody.
All right, awesome. Okay, so if you guys are interested in, again, asking your personal question live, if you dial in on the phone line or dial in on the phone line, better yet, and press *2, it'll raise your hand, or you can type your question onto the webcast page, which is where you may be listening to this call from, on your laptop, your computer, your smartphone, tablet, whichever of the multitude of devices that we're using for that EM field now. With that, let's go ahead and take a live caller first. First live caller I want to take is from Nanuet, New York. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. Telephone number ending in 6721. Nanuet?
Hi. It's hey. I was kind of fighting with the utility company because they wanted to change our meter, smart meter. You just made me think of that because you mentioned that. But my question is, or my comment is, I feel very I don't know what's the word. Like I am stuck, kind of like stagnant, and not exactly sure how to get out of it. Is there the exercise that you just said, that sounds like a thing to do.
Yeah, actually, because when we feel stuck or stagnant, a lot of times it's because we have gotten sort of halted by several different things coming into our energy field at once, and we're not really sure which way to go, and we're not really sure which thing to lean. Several different things coming into our energy field at once, and we're not really sure which way to go, and we're not really sure which thing to lean into that feels good. Nothing really feels that great. All the options on the table seem sort of not so attractive. So the way to get around that is to really, like I said, is to start feeling into all the different options you have in front of you. And if you're trying to create something in your life, you really want to you want to step into that active participant mode as opposed to, gosh, well, should I do this? Because I don't know if that feels good. How does that feel? You know, I mean, where it can get in the analysis paralysis. So instead of that, and wanting it to work out a certain way, and then kind of it doesn't really, and then getting disappointed of what it is you want to bring into the world. And let's say you're not even sure what you want to bring into the world. So the best way for you to figure out and tap into your gift is really to become the quantum observer of your reality. And like I said, doing that is as simple really as stepping into the feeling tone of everything around you, because I can guarantee you that there's things in your environment that are creating confusion in your brain, or there's things in your environment that are creating that stuck feeling, things that are there that you're not really sure, gosh, I should keep doing this. I've been doing it for a long time, and maybe I should shift into something new. But gosh, maybe that thing I didn't really do it all the way and finish it. So in order to allow all that to go, we want to stop ascribing meaning to things and just allow them to be and receive the gifts from them that are potentially there and possible. So when we're feeling into things, although it seems somewhat unrelated, it actually becomes very related when all of those things start informing you back of what their presence means to you in your life, and you start doing the work to release things that don't have a good energetic footprint, or they don't feel good to you in your body, and you start clearing the clutter, and you start
you said the perfect thing. Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, wonderful. All right, Yvette, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Come back and listen again.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Now, Jeilene, I wondered, there's a question that came in from Linda in Riverton, New Jersey. And Linda, thanks for writing in. And I guess we'll go there because, we hear a lot about electromagnetics and different things that are coming in and how it can be harmful. It'll take your interpretation, different things that are coming in and how it can be harmful. It'll take your interpretation on it. So Linda writes that she's heard that 5G electromagnetic waves are going to be coming out of satellites around Earth by 2020. And she's heard that it can have very unhelpful effects on living things on Earth. She wants to know what your awareness is around that.
Yes, I've heard this as well, and I haven't spent a lot of time looking into the 5G, and I'll tell you why. Because there are always things happening on our planet that are not good for us, such as the fact that glyphosate is sprayed on our crops, such as, you know, some of the things that are happening in our government that don't support taking care of people, or in other governments, the genocide that happens around the world. I mean, there's all kinds of things that happen on this planet that are not good for us. So what I find that instead of focusing in on the things that may harm us, I just focus in on expanding my own conscious awareness and expanding my own ability to stay connected to my experience, rooted in the present moment, and creating my reality for myself, knowing that as a conscious, creative quantum being, that I am constantly in a superposition, meaning I can be any possible thing at any given time based on what my intention and my desire is. And so as that quantum being, I don't get really embroiled in or stuck in thinking about what might happen to me or what is going to happen to the Earth, because I know that as that quantum being, I'm going to participate in my reality exactly as I want to, in a conscious and purposeful way. And this isn't just putting my head in the sand. This is instead actually stepping into a really co-creative role for myself with the energy of what's available, what's around me, what's behind me. You know, it's not just not paying attention to it, but it is purposefully not focusing on it.
I love that,
Jeilenes. What I would say about that.
What you're bringing up for me is this aspect of spiritual maturity and awareness. And in that is not being a victim of, also knowing where we can take back or where we can own what's ours and decide what to do with that, either to amplify what's possible, again, in that potential that we seek to bring, again, that joy, that benevolence, that expansion that feels good in our lives, or if we really want to contrive relationship in a way that actually serves to deplete us, because it's not necessarily our war, if you will. Not that it's a war, but in essence, we have it become something that we fight against.
Yes.
That doesn't serve us.
And like you said, and contract. You know, that's the thing. We don't want to contract. We want to expand out. We want to allow. And so it's just exactly, John, what you said there. We don't want to make somebody else's war our war. And it doesn't mean that you're ignoring it or that you're not paying attention. Quite right. To the contrary, you are paying attention, but you're paying attention in a really different way. You're not getting caught up in the stories, because part of that, all of that stuff that's happening, and the 5G and getting people scared, and, you know, we don't know where sources come from in the media either, you know. Sometimes things are about fear and keeping the population in fear, and, you know, we don't know where sources come from in the media either, you know. Sometimes things are about fear and keeping the population in fear. Oh, wow, there's a new technology that's going to make everyone sick. Okay, get scared, and then lo and behold, everyone's sick. So that begets the thing that, you know, they talk about being afraid of for a reason.
I love that. I love your awareness around that. Thank you for that, Jeilene. And Steve wrote in a question, and of course, Steve, thank you for, yes, of course. So around electromagnetics and electrical appliance and all that, you know, I have shungite at my desk. I have other stones also too, because it's said to help counteract some of the effects, or maybe to amplify our bodies in resonance with a particular energy. But do you use stones or crystals or anything like that, or what's your awareness around using tools to help us maybe to amplify our bodies in resonance with a particular energy. But do you use stones or crystals or anything like that, or what's your awareness around using tools to help us be in a more harmonic vibrational alignment with these appliances that we use on a consistent basis?
Yes, I've been using crystals and stones and things of that nature, flower essences, essential oils. I have all of that as part of my life, just naturally. I've just always gravitated towards those. Even before I started all of this work, I'd always gravitated towards crystals and essential oils. And I've always loved their ability to harmonize my energy and to bring in the feeling of that particular plant, if it's a flower essence or an essential oil. I really feel like the earth has given us so many values, and the crystals and just the earth energy itself. I think all of that is really helpful in reharmonizing your energy field and bringing you back into a place of coherence and alignment. So I always look to those natural elements. I also spend a lot of time in nature. I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of outdoor activities, because when I'm outside near the trees, that's when I feel the best. So I think that all of those earth-based techniques and tools are super helpful.
And this from the mouth of a scientist, people. And again, I just want to replace that. You know, it's like, well, it's funny because we start judging other people based on the labels that are given to them based on an education. And so, well, if you're a scientist, then you're not going to believe some of what you believe, and you may be surprised. A funny short story, and I have, well, if you're a scientist, then you're not going to believe some of what you believe, and you may be surprised. A funny short story, and I have to share it because it has to do about judgment and how we actually close the field down. I'm on a boat in Kauai in a dolphin swim, and the captain from the boat, this really rugged kind of sea-bearing, you know, this Hawaiian captain, and it was a group of a whole bunch of people who were really into this esoteric type of spiritual, transformational, galactic, cosmic work. And so everybody's having a good time, and I'm talking to them just about normal stuff, and I'm not really opening the conversation because part of me is judging that he just won't get it, or he won't understand, or he's not interested, or whatever, based on previous experiences. So he asked me what I do, and I told him about the show and type of the work that we do. And he starts downloading all of the stuff about the galactic angels, about Archangel Michael, about the dolphins' communication and all that. But again, it was the judgment that I had that was preventing the field. And he was one label of the many facets that you are into the healing and the resonance and into the light encoded language that you bring in. It's just a beautiful gift for all of us to receive, that we don't have to say that we're one particular thing, and as that we open up to more of the gifts that we are, that we're just starting to discover. We actually normalize, again, the conversation for others around us. So I had to share that story.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know what? And we are, I mean, from the science plus the bridge to the metaphysical, which I think is really part of my role here, is to be that bridge. But, you know, we're quantum beings. Quantum beings are totally metaphysical, right? Yes. I mean, you can be scientist and far out there metaphysical at the same time. To me, it feels perfectly natural and like we're returning home. Like, I think we're all scientists. I think anybody that's ever related to the earth is a scientist. Related to the earth is a scientist. You know, you like plants, you're a scientist. So.
I love it. I love it. So everyone, we're going to get into a multidimensional light-coded sound transmission in a little bit. Before we get into the special offer, which, by the way, includes a private session with Jeilene also, which I highly recommend, I want to take one more live caller before we dive inside Jeilene. So I am guided right now to go to, where'd you go? Caller from Rock Island, Illinois. Telephone number ending in 9588.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you. This is Amanda, and I'm really excited about the information. In fact, I took a look at the offer already. But my question is as far, and I'm excited about the special help raise a vibration to the point where it will bring in, and I don't know how to say it, good news, or because it just like the other caller, I feel like there's a funk, and I get really excited, and then it's like I go down, and then I go up, and I go down. So I'm looking for a nice, peaceful, vibrational, financially secure kind of thing. So it's just been, I find that I'm so connected to the elements that I'm going up and down, up and down.
Yeah, that is typical. So one thing that, and I think I said this, I don't mean to repeat myself too much, but connecting into the earth is really grounding. It really is a way of keeping you from doing all the ups and downs. One of the reasons why is because when you connect into the earth, you also connect into the joy of her spirit. The earth is creating constantly. Like the earth is like a mini source. She is creating constantly. She is in that exuberance, in that joy, and that creation mode all the time. And it's such a beautiful thing. When you start to tap into her energy and get downloads from her, it's unbelievable how good it helps you feel. And it helps you feel good not in a flighty or like, woo, I just had a rush. It helps you feel good in this really grounded, purposeful, connected, and full way. You just feel very full. I feel very full of her joy when I'm in resonance with her. I feel very full of joy when I'm healing with her energy, with the magic. It's like stepping into that ability to feel and understand that it's safe, that it's myriad full of complexity, but at the same time, it's this amazing symphony of energy and light that you can start to understand and really have some fun with. Really try and infuse the joy into the process, because we did not come here to suffer. We came here, yes, to learn and to work out some really sometimes intense experiences, but we also came here to connect into the joy of creation and of being, and that's what the earth really helps us to remember.
Great. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Good.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for calling in. And Jeilene, I love that you bring up the word suffering, because I shifted that word last week. I'm no longer a sufferer. Thank you for calling in. And Jeilene, I love that you bring up the word suffering, because I shifted that word last week. I'm no longer a sufferer. I'm a surfer.
Oh, fantastic! I like that.
It's fun. We're learning to surf new waves, and so the suffering kept us on this tide. It kept pulling us under, and we're like rolling. But with all of the information that we have available, with all the energetics that are coming in, we're learning to ride these waves. We're becoming empowered, and we're becoming quite masterful. And it's time we give ourselves credit for that, instead of thinking that we're being pulled by something that we haven't experienced before. I can almost guarantee everybody on this call that whatever you think you're suffering right now, you've suffered before.
For sure. And it's showing up now because of these electromagnetics that make it all possible to finally let it go. Those waves, like a master surfer, and say, I'm choosing something different, and to really rise to the top of it, and to enjoy the ride while you're on it. So it's amazing. Jeilene, I love what you're bringing to the table. And again, the sessions with you, I'm such a huge fan. And again, before we get into the light encoded transmission, I want to invite everybody to click on the special offer button, because there's a few ways to interact with Jeilene, and I recommend all of them. And I'm going to ask Jeilene to lead us through each offer, each of the modules and the classes that are showing, and also describe how the private sessions work. So as she's describing that, I'd love for all of y'all to follow along and really consider what's being offered here as truly a generous gift to get to know Jeilene better. So to do that, just click on the special offer button that's on the webcast page where you're listening to the call from, or type into your web browser, and that is spelled JEILENE,
LENE and the number 18. It'll take you to that same page. And Jeilene, with that, lead us through these goodies that you have for us.
Okay, so the first item in the special offer is a Web of Life 5-week course. And these are courses that I'm putting together to explore different aspects of our world and our interaction with that world, and how we can come into peaceful co-creation with the earth and with all sentient beings, and really understand our place in that whole web of life. So we're going to do this over 5 weeks, and I'll be posting information, webcast, meditations and exercises, some written material, chock full of information on 4 different subjects. And then at the end, we're going to have a live Q&A for a couple hours where it'll be a Zoom. At the end, we're going to have a live Q&A for a couple hours where it'll be a Zoom call, and we can all interact with each other and chat about the work, and you can ask questions, and I'll give you answers. And I'm just really excited about this course because it covers a lot of the wonderful information that my guides have been bringing in for a long time. We're going to work with the Arcturians in week 1 on the topic of the body energetic, basically how the physical body coalesces into form, and all of the different aspects that come into play in helping that happen. And then amplifying your DNA, your whole chi pranic energy system, and amplifying that up to come into a place of a higher harmonic, which is something really fun that the Arcturians do with me in sessions, and I really love that work. And then week 2, we're going to talk about the microbiome and the heart-brain-gut connection, which is super vital to creating lasting health system, your neurobiology, your digestion, your nutrient sequestration, and all of that. So it'll be part science and then part metaphysics when we go into the consciousness of these beautiful little creatures that are keeping you alive and how we've co-evolved with them on this planet. In the 3rd week, we'll talk about the brain dynamics and keeping that brain healthy and ever-evolving, and we touched on that with the Divinians and increasing neuroplasticity, and we'll go into that. And then the 4th week, we're going to work with the Earth Keepers, my dear mantis friends, who are going to teach us how to use sound for your own healing. They always use sound. They also use green light a lot. So we're going to talk about how to heal yourself. And they want to teach everyone how to do this for themselves. It's not just me that is going to be the healer of the world. It's certainly their gift to teach everyone how to heal themselves and work with their DNA. I'm going to talk about their gift to teach everyone how to heal themselves and work with their DNA. I'm going to talk about some epigenetics and shifting DNA and inherited factors and things that you can shift through, and problems with diet or with mutations and all kinds of things. So we'll talk about lots of different subjects there. And then that last week we'll have that wrap-up discussion and the opportunity to ask questions. Item 2 is several different tones that I've put together. So these are recordings. They're varying in length, but they're like a short meditation or a longer meditation with tones to help support your body and your health. So we've got DNA optimization and activation, a heart song to help bring you into your heart center and amplify that energy, a pineal gland activation, stepping into your potential to really connect you into your joy and your potential as that quantum being, a heart song to help bring you into your heart center and amplify that energy, a pineal gland activation, stepping into your potential to really connect you into your joy and your potential as that quantum being, microbiome balancing, and an energy boost. So all kinds of variety there. And then, gosh, it just keeps on going here. Item 3 is a 2-month subscription to a new membership network I put together called the Light Vibes Learning Community. I'm so excited about this. This is near and dear to my heart. I've had a lot of help putting this together, and I'm bringing forward information. I'm constantly getting downloads. I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly researching, and I'm constantly working with my metaphysical friends to bring in information and new ways of healing and new ways of interacting. And so that's going to be a place that I'm depositing all that information, doing a webcast every month that'll be live, going on, and how we can upgrade and amplify our ability to find health and well-being and peace on this planet. And I'm excited about all those things. And then if you get package B, we can work together for half an hour. You can upgrade to a full hour on my website when you click the special offer and book a half-hour session otherwise. So if you're doing just a half hour, just come with a couple of different things that we can really focus in on. And it'll be my pleasure to meet you and work with you and see what we can do for you in that time that we're together.
Amazing. Again, I love what you're bringing in. And again, another thing that you do in these classes, again, there's going to be channeled information. There's going to be these downloads, these sound transmissions that you bring in on each one of these calls as well, according to your special offer.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for reminding. So it's like getting a healing session with me every week that you do the class also.
Right. Huge. So again, that's such a gift, and to have these in these courses that way at this price point, and again to engage our mind, to engage our heart, to engage the gut also in these different ways, and again to engage that neuroplasticity and your awareness, to activate the pineal gland, to activate the electromagnetics within ourselves in a way that's harmonic with where we want to go, and to entrain for that future potential and bringing it in now by the feeling code and decoding those things that don't serve, but also decoding those things that are really ready to be lit up. It's all part of this. I know how you work, so I can talk about this intimately, and that's exciting for me because everything gets to go along with us, and it's our experience of all of it for sure. So intimately, and that's exciting for me because everything gets to go along with us, and it's our experience of all of it for sure. So again, I'm excited. So on the course, package A, it's $127. You're going to get, again, what's listed here and so much more, activating these codes, getting in harmonic with your authentic, I'll call it what lights you up energetically as well, and becoming even more familiar with that. So in that intimacy with self, you get to become even more of a conscious creator. Amazing. Take advantage of it. The first package, $127. There's a 2-payment option, a 30-day money-back guarantee on that as well. And then the private sessions with Jeilene to upgrade for just an additional, $60 on top of the package. It's ridiculous. And thank you so much for your generosity, Jeilene. It's so awesome. Guys, I love you guys. That's why we have BTO. We have amazing, supercharged boost on where you want to go to propel you forward in ways that are just super aligned with the love that you're ready to receive. And that's really what it's all about. So again, the 30-minute session with Jeilene and the opportunity to actually upgrade it to an hour session, which I wasn't aware of, is something that I highly recommend. We do the 30 minutes or the full hour. And that's $187. Again, for the 30-minute session plus package A. So take advantage of that. There's a 2-payment option on that as well. And again, you all can get to the special offer by clicking on the special offer button on the webcast page, or by typing into your browser beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Jeilene 18, Jeilene, and the number 18. So wonderful, Jeilene. Thank you for that. And Jeilene, before we get into the sound, before we get into the sound transmission, I'd love to take a few more questions if you're up for that.
Sure, that would be fun. That'd be great.
All right, awesome. So let's go to a live caller now. And where do we want to go? How about there's someone else popping out? Oh, let's go to San Jose, California. Telephone number ending in 4332.
Close to me.
Hi.
Hello.
I know, and to me, kind of.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what's your
question?
Yes,
what's your name and what's your question?
Sorry. My name is Julia. And I guess I'm a little bit at a loss right now. I guess, is there anything that you can sense I should know about? I guess something more general.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of at a crossroads, and I'm looking for a life partner, and that's been a little frustrating. And I'm just kind of at the point where I don't know if it's going to happen. So any insight you could share?
Yeah, so you're having that feeling of not really being that connected to the outcomes of your experience, probably, if you're feeling that you're ready for something maybe but not really sure. It doesn't feel like you're fully stepping into and participating in what's happening around you. I mean, in some ways probably you're doing a lot of doing, but maybe not as much being in that space of really consciously thinking about how you want things to turn out, or maybe thinking about how you want things to turn out, but not from a place of your creative mode. It's more like in the, I would say for you to really engage with your processes of creating. So when we're looking for a life partner, I'll just say this quickly. What we want to do is we want to emit a feeling tone from ourselves that really draws the right kind of person to us, meaning you want to really step into that power of that love frequency, that self-love, that total awe and inspiration you may have for yourself, right? Because when you do that, you immediately start to draw towards you the type of person that's going to resonate with that and is going to celebrate that in you and is going to amplify that in you and really helps you to go on an adventure together. But you cannot attract that person when you are deep within sort of the story of on an adventure together. But you cannot attract that person when you are deep within sort of the story of wondering, you know, what's coming next or how will I create that, or sort of the questioning. You have to like flip that dime over and instead be more outward facing and more purposeful about saying, look, instead of worrying about what's not going to happen, I'm actually going to go out and make it happen, and I'm going to start with me, and I'm going to start with me by shifting the way that my energy is received by everybody around me. I'm going to move out of my brain. I'm going to move into my heart. I'm going to allow that feeling tone to flow outward from me. And everywhere I go and every person I meet, I'm going to be in this resonant frequency of love and of excitement for the joy that is possible. And that is when you're going to be sort of shifted into a state of mind where you're actually it's going to sort of take you down a trail that you've been down before that, boy, you're tired of and you don't want to go down again.
Yeah, I think that definitely resonates. I think that's where the struggle is I've done a lot of work on myself, and I'm still trying to work on the self-love. I still have a lot of stories that I just don't seem to be able to shake, and that's the struggle.
Mm-hmm. It's so typical for so many of us. It's really not like you're alone in this. Oh my gosh, it's so typical. You know, and what happens is these little stories sneak up on us, right? Before we know it, we're like rooted in a story and we didn't even realize that we meant to do that. Even when we're being conscious and purposefully creating one big section of our life, there could be another section of our life that we're really just sort of like, okay, well, I don't really want to deal with that right now because you know what, that's kind of hard and that doesn't feel that good and I'm just going to kind of ignore that right now because they don't feel that comfortable, like relationship with other people. But it's inside of that space that actually you come into the biggest aha moments for yourself and the biggest opportunities for expansion of consciousness and expansion into becoming this really, the way I see it is like you're standing at the edge of this beautiful quantum field and like you are the driver, you've got the joystick in your hand and you're going on an adventure. That's why I'm talking about the joy, because life should be an adventure in energy. And that's where you get to like be like, ooh, what does that person feel like to me? Ooh, what does that person feel like to me? Does that person feel like they could be fun? Like we could go off and have an adventure together? Or, you know, are you even meeting people like that in your periphery? Or are you putting out an energetic that kind of is thwarting that? So that's why it makes sense to allow those areas that we're not really, as accustomed or as in tune. That's why it makes sense to allow those areas that we're not really, as accustomed or as in tune with looking at to be more center stage, and allow yourself the time and the space to just step into understanding why certain types of people or certain types of situations make you feel the way they do. Because that has everything to do with, all those meanings have everything to do with the way that you're attracting people towards you or repelling others or the experiences you're having or not having.
Yeah, I feel like with that approach, though, I'm going to be staying in my head because I'm trying to figure out then what energy I'm giving off to give the results that I don't want. Doesn't that keep me in my head?
No, actually, because in order to emit, you've got to move from your head down into your heart. And that's a really important first step, is that we want our awareness not in our head and in our brain. I talk a lot about the brain, but one of the things about the brain is that it is there as a tool, but really we want the electromagnetic signals coming out of our body from our heart. And our heart is so much better at emitting electromagnetic signals. It's far stronger. It's like 50 times stronger than the brain at doing this. And it emits a beautiful signal of love and peace and well-being and gratitude, whereas the brain has more chaotic signals because it has a lot more going on in there. The heart really resonates with this beautiful home note that others can feel from us. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about emitting and feeling into your environment. Do it from your heart. Do it from that space where you can come into coherence. And there's lots of research that shows when you move your awareness into your heart and you start meditating, you start amplifying the energy of love in your heart, that you actually bring coherence into your brain and into your gut. So it's always got to be from the heart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense logically. It's just the doing, right? The difficulty is right.
I love it. I love that you're saying it makes sense logically, and I wonder if you can come back to the replay and grab a tea or coffee, sit back and relax, put the pen and paper down, and receive it, and allow your heart to be the lead receptor. Just say, this is going to be time for me, and then perhaps you can feel into the gift that you're giving yourself by asking this question and listening, because you showed up for this. You showed up for this call. You got called on and you asked this question. So by you giving to yourself, see how that makes your heart feel, that you would show up for yourself in this way. And isn't that what you're asking for of a beloved? And to start receiving that, knowing that if you're doing it for yourself and someone else is matching that vibrationally, it just hasn't manifested yet. And perhaps it's just asking you to do it a little bit more because that much love wants to come in for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. And thanks for your call. The beautiful mind. And again, the thing is, Jeilene, we don't want to get rid of the mind, and it's not bad. It's about how to work and dance all of these beautiful parts of ourselves so that they're really functioning at their mastery, as opposed to trying to compensate for other things based on the way that we've grown up or been taught.
Exactly. The mind is a beautiful place and is there.
As opposed to trying to compensate for other things based on the way that we've grown up or been taught.
Exactly. The mind is a beautiful place and is there to support us and all of our bodily functions. But when it's in resonance with the heart is when it's at its most peaceful and when it's not, firing off all those stress hormones. So we want it to be in that state of coherence and resonance with the heart, and the same for the gut. But really, the heart should be the driver of the energetic in the body. And then the brain is a place where we can interface with lots of wonderful adventures and metaphysical experiences, because the pineal there, and we've got the dimethyltryptamine, which is the DMT. A lot of people have heard of that, right? The spirit molecule. That all comes out of the brain, right? But so we can have those metaphysical, meditative experiences, but if it's not anchored in ground you into your body, then the wheels start falling off the bus. It's got to be rooted and anchored in that vibration of love and gratitude to really be effective for the body and for the experience.
It really ignites the electromagnetics in our field, in our body, those receptors in a whole different way. It's, if one was a little light bulb that's been activated by the energy that we have, the other one can be a nuclear reaction when we're really in that full-on vibration of love that we have all glimpsed, I am sure. At least most of us at one time or another in our lives, right?
Yep.
You all know what I'm talking about, and it feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah, you know it when you feel it. It's like, wow, I want more of that, right?
Yes, more, right? Yes.
Yeah. More.
So cool. I love what you're inviting in and what you're bringing in. And to bring us into harmonic, sit back and relax and allow yourself to receive. And for some housekeeping things, and again, the invitation to work with Jeilene even deeper. Of course, we're going to run the replay. We'll send the replay link out a little bit later this evening. Come back and listen and get into vibrational harmony with what's being shared here, because it's a big invitation for what I'm feeling is an embodiment of these aspects of ourselves that are ready to function in synergy to really amplify what's possible. And Jeilene, you're such an ambassador for that for me right now. So thank you for that. So the replay will go out. And of course, the special offer with these live courses, these channeled transmissions that will be included on there, and each call as well, to open up these vibrational tones, this energy within us, and to really ignite those parts of our encode, to open up these vibrational tones, this energy within us, and to really ignite those parts of our encodement that's ready to come online. I'm telling you, Jailene's work is fantastic, and I highly recommend. I don't think I've said highly recommend about a speaker so many times on a call in a while. So this is something.
Appreciate that.
But I do. It's so cool. So again, guys, take advantage of the special offer. And again, the package B includes a private session with Jeilene also. And again, you can get that special offer by clicking on the special offer button on the webcast, and you already know where to find it on. By typing into your browser, so I'll leave that to you guys. And Jeilene, if you're warmed up for us, we'd love to receive what wants to come through.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so like John said, how about everybody get nice and comfy and relaxed position. Start taking some nice deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Anchoring into your body, dropping into your tissues, allowing every cell in your body to come present into this moment right now, right here. Every cell turning their attention into this present moment, anchoring that energy into your body. And as you breathe, start to imagine roots or a cord flowing downward from your feet and your seat, from every point touching the surface if you're lying down, and flowing downward through the floor and down below the building that you're in, and down into the earth below. And as if magnetically drawn, those roots are going to start a downward path through the layers of the earth, through the rocks and the soil, down through the waters, through the layers of sediment, moving further and further still down through the earth till they finally reach the crystalline core, the energy grid of the earth, the whole Gaian system. Anchoring and connecting into that grid, the earth feels your connection and welcomes you. We send gratitude to the earth for accepting this connection, and she responds in turn by sending up a beautiful energetic of light right back up those roots the way they came down. And if you so choose, as this light flows up these roots, you can invite it into your body. And as you breathe in, that light starts to travel up through your body and flow into every cell and every tissue, every area of your body, flowing and mixing with all of the energy that makes up you, blending perfectly, creating a beautiful harmonic of light and energy in your body with Mother Gaia. This cradles your energy and brings you into harmony with hers, opening the space safely for this energy transmission to take place. And what the guides would like to bring in today is a balancing of that heart energy in your brain, heart-brain, and the energy of the brain-brain, and the energy of the gut-brain. All three of these different centers, these power centers in the body that are in interaction with all of your chakras, constantly in interaction with all of your meridian system, constantly in interaction with all of your cells and with your personal health and well-being. These three centers are really the powerhouses of emergent technology in your own body for bringing you into a state of peace and wellness, because they are the interfaces between the biochemistry and the energy. And this is where you can participate in creating a beautiful energetic for yourself. And today we're going to start in the heart. And so I want everyone to travel into the heart with me by thinking about something that puts them into a memory of love and gratitude. It can be a wonderful thing someone said to you, a friend, a loved one, a child. It can be a beautiful sunset that you saw that made you laugh. So think about that now and put that into your heart and feel that feeling tone of that memory in your heart and feel that energy there in your heart. And as I do the tones, we're going to expand that energy. And so as you breathe in, you'll see that energy begin to expand. And as you breathe out, we're going to allow it to flow into each part of the body. And as the tones continue, we're going to move up into the brain and the head, and we're going to bring it into a harmonious synchronization with the heart. And then we're going to flow downward into the lower abdomen to bring that same harmonious synchronization into the whole gut. And then the three of them, as if connected through double-sided infinity sign, are going to travel and move together. And then the three of them, as if connected through double-sided infinity sign, are going to travel and move together with the energy. Place a hand on your chest and feel the rhythm of your breath and feel the energy of expansion of that memory. Beautiful. Take some nice deep breaths. Allow that energy to integrate through your whole system. This is you in your truth, in your true state, this beauty, this peacefulness you inhabit in your body right now that you're feeling into. And this is the truth of your being. This is you standing at the edge of your potential. And this is you remembering that you can be anything you want at any moment, at any time. You are tapped into all of that beauty of that system, of all of that quantum ability, all of that excitement and joy for participating in this life on so many different levels. We thank all of the beautiful guides that came to participate in this energy transmission. We thank all of you for being here, for all of the beautiful guides that came to participate in this energy transmission. We thank all of you for being here, for creating the platform and the energy for this transmission to be received. And we thank John for creating this space and for all of the participation. Thank you.
So beautiful. It's with that I want to leave everyone on the call. Wow, I'm in tears, and that really happens on the call. So relish your experience, amplify it, know that you are love, and love is only waiting for you to say yes for you to receive it even more when you decide, when it's right for you. And it's with this tone, with this vibration, this experience. Jeilene, I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your wisdom on the call. Bowing to you in namaste. It's with that I send you all my love and look forward to seeing you on the next call. Have a fantastic evening.